Good morning.
Good morning. This is Meditation Reflections, and we're doing a morning one because we're not doing construction today. We have to catch up on a few other things. We're going to be all over the place for a while, so catch us when you can.
True. But we're also using this to do some other experiments of filming and taping and music backgrounds. And the more we learn, the more we will have interesting things to look at and hear.
Yeah.
Which is good.
It's
The meditation was good this morning,
yeah.
too, which is the whole point of the exercise.
Yeah. So,
You go first. You had an interesting one.
okay. Now this is it was pretty deep, but it was kind of came in a flash, which often things do. And speaking of flashes, this goes back to something that Nassim Haramein was talking about, and Nassim Haramein is a physicist, but not very well known by the mainstream because a lot of his work is in, what would you call it, censored maybe even?
And remember, he's kind of classified as French, except for the fact that he was the first scientist to calculate the volume and weight of a photon.
Yeah.
And that was a piece of hard science, and he was well recognized for that one. And so periodically, science catches up to some of the experimental theory stuff that he's doing.
Yeah, and
so eventually it'll balance out, and eventually we'll get perfect truth from it.
He'll be recognized as a super genius.
Yeah.
And partly because he's not connected to any university. He is self-taught. But amazing person. But anyway, one of his theories is the fact that our reality flashes back and forth between 0 point, which is source, to this 3D reality, and then back and forth, and it goes like, can't even
nanosecond, not even a nanosecond.
Oh yeah, it's just billions of times per nanosecond. You know, I can't remember the rate at which it happens, but so fast that it's we think this is a continuous reality. It's not. But anyway, when we go back to 0 point and back to here, it's not always back to the same here. And that's where jumping timelines comes in, because we come back to a slightly different reality, and that's known as a timeline shift. And there's things that change in those shifts, subtle things that a lot of people don't even notice, and other times there's kind of like more major changes. And we're gradually shifting our timelines to a much greater reality, or a more expanded, or higher density, or lower density.
That's higher density of light.
Yeah.
You know, the good guys are going to win, so don't worry about that. But it takes a lot of work, and some of the work is your own awareness. By the way, I want to do just a little hard science. Not Nassim Haramein, but standard quantum physics says that they're really intrigued that they'll see a particle, and then the little particle will go away, and then it will come back again. And they can actually see that at the subatomic level, that these particles are going in and out of existence. That's what he's talking about, is the larger scale of what happens beyond that. That it's literally going into someplace else that has a non-physical reality, and then coming back into physical reality, because a photon is a physical object. Oh, by the way, it's the smallest unit of light.
Another thing, paired particles, every particle has a spin, and if you take a pair of particles and spin one, the other
goes the opposite.
It's going in the opposite direction. You change the spin of one, the other one changes on its own, and the distance between them is irrelevant, and it's instantaneous.
So that had a lot to do with working out the time problem, or just making the time problem a lot more complicated, because they moved it, let's see, the test was being done in Spain, and they moved the other particle out to the Canary Islands, and I know they've been trying farther and farther distances, because that would be instantaneous communication between any 2 points, literally in the galaxy, not just Earth. But so our quantum computers and quantum mechanics is exploring this area too, and it's interesting, it comes up in spiritual thought.
Many moons ago, I was devoured book after book on theoretical physics and looked at becoming a physicist. And once I discovered what they really do, I said, nah. Because I talked to a physicist one time, and he just told me he just chased after grant money, and that was the bulk of his job. And I said, nah, I don't want to go there.
Both of us have a tendency to read a little more science, physics, and information like that.
Yeah.
And usually fairly current stuff as well, because there's some really interesting research that I think will be coming out fairly soon, because the plasma universe and the electromagnetic information about the universe, the science has really been pushing hard in that area. So a paradigm shift, and we have new ways of thinking about things.
I mean, Donna just bought a physics
A textbook.
on cosmology, actually.
Freaked him out. It was $200.
Oh God, was it?
Yes.
Ew.
Oh, well, that was, it wasn't the news. It was an American textbook, so unfortunately, when we put it in the New Zealand dollar, it runs up, and you have
And
shipping.
then shipping.
But
Anyway,
the book has been fascinating.
Back to meditation reflections. We should get back on track.
True, but the detail, I'm going to change it.
Yep.
This was a kind of paralleling thing, because I was getting from Spirit that the boundary line between these two ways of thinking was infinitely small, and what they want to work with us on is showing us that boundary line and using the camera to look for the boundary line between this other worldliness and our physical world. And they were talking to me saying it's mainly about light.
Yeah.
So we're going to do some camera experiments.
The higher densities have more light, and then all the way up to light beams.
True.
Yeah, which are pure light.
A little more hard science research, you'll find that photons have been detected in human DNA.
Yeah, also,
and they're just sitting there.
And in our pituitary gland actually has photonic sensors.
Yeah, it is a third
Light-
eye, and it can
light-
see light.
It is, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Anyway,
what I was going to say.
so an interesting connection between what is hard science, which I think is worth monitoring,
Yeah.
and what is new levels of spiritual awareness, and looking for ways to share that, because it does make understanding a little easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have anything else.
Yeah, that's it. So thanks for being here. Check us out on YouTube and naturalshaman.com. Have a great day.
Have a great day, and blessings upon you.
Blessings.